The Federal Election Commission sent a notice to Marjorie Taylor Greene's husband this week, who happens to be serving as one of the treasurers, I guess, for her campaign, and they want to know why exactly she raised $3.5 million but didn't itemize any of those donations. Now, before we go any further, let me explain here. Raising $3.5 million for a politician is not a problem. Raising $3.5 million in unitemized donations is not a problem, so long as all of those donations were under $200, meaning anything $199.99 and below, you do not have to itemize and you do not have to list the names of the donor. So the FEC right now is simply trying to make sure that $3.5 million raised by Marjorie Taylor Greene this year is legit, and that every penny of it came from small donors who gave $199.99 or less. Now, here's the issue, though. In order for this to be accurate, she would have had to have gotten $3.5 million from at least 17,630 different individuals, giving $199.99. So, more realistically, we're talking well over 17,000 different donors giving her this money. Again, totally not out of the realm of possibility. But there's a couple things to keep in mind here. Yes, Marjorie Taylor Greene did see a huge spike in donations earlier this year, right? Once she got kicked off her committees, used all that negative publicity, turned it into a fundraising scheme, she raised a lot of money from it. But she didn't raise $3.5 million from it. And then, of course, we also know that she's currently, off and on again, I guess, on her tour around the country with Matt Gaetz, where they're not raising enough money to actually even pay for the tour. So whatever it is she's selling out there to the public isn't resonating with the people she's talking to because it's not transforming into donations. So, yeah. I guess when you look at it that way, it does seem a little fishy, doesn't it? So what could be the case, and this is pure speculation until we get answers, obviously we don't know for sure, but this money could have come, from corporate donors, from big-time donors, whoever they are, giving more than $200 a pop, in which case all she's going to have to do is file an amended thing, as they so often do, and say, oh, okay, sorry, yeah, I forgot to mention so-and-so gave me $5,000, whatever. Here's the problem I have with all of this. And again, it's incredibly likely, and the most likely scenario is that this all did come from small donors. So don't get me wrong about that. This probably all came from small donors. Problem is, we have seen too many politicians, just in the last month, get popped in the media for screwing up their financial disclosure forms. And then, rather than being punished for it, rather than being investigated, all they get to do is, well, you just amend this here, and here you go, I'm done, whatever. No, you screwed up. See, here's the thing. If I screw up on my taxes and I file that with the federal government, much like they have to do with their campaign financial disclosures, if I mess up on my form, the IRS doesn't come back to me and say, oh, hey, this is probably nothing. Could you just fix this and just send it back to us? Cool, thanks, you're great. No. They'll conduct an audit. I have to pay fines and fees for filling out the form wrong, for paying late, whatever it is, for not disclosing certain income. You can get in a hell of a lot of trouble when we fill out what amounts to basically our financial disclosure forms every year. If you do something wrong, you don't get a mulligan on it. You don't get to just say, oops, totally forgot all this money. Like, Lauren Boebert did and Matt Gaetz did. We don't get that same opportunity that these individuals who should be held to a higher standard than you and me, we don't get that. And again, this is actually less about Marjorie Taylor Greene at this point and more about these other Republicans who didn't actually disclose all their money. I'm willing to bet at the end of the day, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt on this particular issue. This money probably did come from small donors. Marjorie Taylor Green is probably too toxic, at least at the moment, for big donors and certainly big corporations to come in and shower her with cash, especially at this point in her career. Meaning she's a freshman member of Congress, not even finished with her first term, and she doesn't even sit on any committees. So yeah, I am willing to bet that this money, this $3.5 million, did come from small donors. But it's the other people that piss me off even more. Because if we make the same mistake on our financial disclosures, our taxes, we don't get the same kind of leniency to say, oops, forgot to tell you about tens of thousands of dollars I made. Maybe you want to know about that now, I guess. No, we don't get that, and they shouldn't either.